No, okay. Sorry. Okay. So,
You need a little bit more.
you know, that's fine. So most of the time, you've actually planned ahead because you've got the wine coming in from a wine club and you have 9 or 10 bottles at home, and the only time that you might be kind of like buying immediately is for an occasion.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That's kind of the
Very
norm.
rarely, probably I'd say 95% of the time when I'm heading to a wine shop or to the liquor store, it is always occasion based. If I didn't have anything in stock at home that was appropriate, I would go bottle.
Okay.
With the exception of the ones that I can never find, if I see it and it's convenient for me, then I will buy some to stock it. But outside of that, it's usually occasion.
Okay. And when you're like, so I guess when you're either in a restaurant or when you, outside of the stuff that's coming in from your wine club, outside of that stuff, when you're like buying wine, like you talked about like California or I guess American wines or Napa wines. What else are you like, if anything, are you like paying attention to like on when you're looking at a particular wine to buy? And what else is important?
I typically drink reds, by and large. So I always look at the red list, and I'll try to see if I recognize any of the labels. Typically, I would not. And the restaurants, that I typically patron are Spanish or Italian, so they have their own wine. And after drinking so many, I still know the brands very well. But I would always describe to the bartender something similar to Napa, that buttery finish, that smooth taste, very easy drinking. Those are the words they use to describe it. Typically, they'll get me something close.
Okay, and so you kind of trust.
I trust.
Their advice is important.
Better than anything I would ever know myself. I have in my back pocket maybe 5 labels that I do know.
Okay.
And then outside of that, I leave it up to you.
So their recommendation is kind of what drives the decision.
Yeah, part of that, and then also I'd say also it's what they recommend, because there's always a list. Right? There's a $20 glass, and there's something more reasonable, 13 to 15. They're like, yeah, go for the 20. I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to you trying to upsell me.
Right.
So if it's within reason, for the price point, if it's within reason, I'll follow along.
Okay, so it's really to kind of summarize, there's the style that you like, which starts the conversation. Yeah. Then it's you're the expert, so you help me, and then there's my price point that narrows it down, and then you've got your decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And then for the wine at home, it's much more like planned ahead of time, and it's kind of, I have an experiential connection with this. Maybe I went there, or like I've had enough of it that I recognize it, and so I'm committed to buying this on a regular basis.
Yeah, because I know it's consistent. Because I know the quality and the enjoyability of it. At the same time, I think just for myself, I like sharing it as well, because it's something. If I know that certain guests have certain preferences, like if they like the label, then I'll go out of my way to buy that particular one for them. But having people over at my house, and I know they're good, like it's not like crap wine like you said before. I'll share it with them. I'll say, well, we had it at Napa. This is something I really enjoy.
There's a story.
There's a story behind it. I enjoyed it. I know it's quality. I would say at least on a mainstream basis, our guests would enjoy drinking the same thing.
Have you ever there's all these like Birchbox, right? Like that sends you like beauty stuff every month. There's like wine clubs that do that. They'll send you like not from the winery. I think that's what you're talking about. But like they'll like curate a box, and it's all like on monthly subscription, and they'll send you like a box. Have you ever like signed up?
No, I don't like that model, because I know it's a margin-based business, so they're going to send you something great and something terrible, and I'm just not willing to take the bottom end of it. It's kind of like Blue Apron, right? They'll give you the salmon, and they'll give you like a whole thing of pasta because they need to make back profit. I want the consistency. If I'm going to go in, I need to know that I'm committed to high quality things. I'm not willing to take that risk for a shitty bottle.
Right. Okay. Do your friends' opinions or recommendations, does that matter? Like if you're out somewhere?
I think at a point in my life it did. I think at this point, because I'm so dogmatic about what I like, that I kind of know. I feel like at this point, understand my palate better than most, except when I'm completely out of my element and I'm in, Italian wine bar, French wine bar. My friend says, "Oh, there's this absolutely lovely label," and out of respect, on top of that, I would say, "Hey, let's just grab it. No big deal." Because at the end, my end game is to just enjoy it socially, more than anything else. But obviously, I would love a great experience drinking it.
Yeah. And what about when you're saying like when you're going to a wine store, it's either people are coming over or you're going to someone's place. So there's other people that are going to be drinking with you. So how much are you thinking when you're going in there? Are you thinking about like what you want, or are you thinking about like what might they want to have? Like who's involved?
Kind of both, because it's so for instance, a good friend of mine who loves this one particular brand of Italian wine. Her and her husband always serve it at their place. It's a nice bottle. So to me, I want to reciprocate. I know that's what they like, so I'll go and buy that particular brand.
Okay.
I'm showing them, hey, I know that you're coming. You're a special guest of ours, and we're going to reciprocate and serve you what you like. But on top of that, I think I would probably throw in something that I like just to share with them. Something that I myself enjoy that they may not have dabbled in. But I would give them both options. Being a great, good host.
How do you know you're going to find what you need? Like that's a very deliberate decision. Like, oh, I know that they like this, or this is something that I would like. It's very thoughtful. That's very thoughtful. So how do you know you're going to find that at the wine store?
I don't. So I've narrowed it down, at least for this particular case. I live on 12th Street and 6th. I'm on 7th and 14th. So we know exactly which wine shop that it's available. So we're kind of neighbors anyway. So I know there's two in particular that would always carry that product. And
so you know what, for two wine stores, there's a specific product in that wine store.
So every time they come over, I always go to those two wine stores to pick it up.
That's very interesting. That's like very thoughtful way of, and a lot of like, you had to invest time and effort.
And it's not all cases. There are some people, so for instance, if I were, this is kind of bad, but, so for instance, so I had a girls' night in one evening. I was trying to break into this new circle. Actually, this girlfriend of mine is actually my boyfriend's best friend's wife now.
Okay.
And so in order to make nice with her, I wanted to make sure that we were good, and we come from different worlds. Like, let's do like a wine and cheese party. I'll host. I told her to invite her friends, so I was hosting her and her friends. She's like, I don't know them very well. I don't feel like they have very elevated taste, so I'm gonna go with like maybe the Trader Joe's $20 bottles. So I went to Trader Joe's and bought a bunch of those. So I didn't serve them the nice ones. I served them something I thought was palatable, and they probably had no distinction anyway. A distinguishable palate, and I went there and I bought them.
But you could have gone to the wine store and found a $20 bottle of wine.
But it was that particular Napa one that I was looking for.
So you were still...
I was still looking for it,
Still looking for something.
because I know it's a good product.
Right.
But I wasn't willing to spend that amount of money. I'm like, $20 a bottle is fine, but not the $50 bottle.
Okay. So when you talk about like the good, being a good wine or a good product, it's all about, so far it's all about your own experience of having experienced it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you ever pay attention to like, there'll be like wine reviews or like blogs, like Wine Spectator will rate wines, right? And they have like the 90, 95 points and all that stuff. Is that important to you?
Not really, because I think my behavior in buying wine, at least in the wine stores, is very like point of sale. It's almost like I have an occasion, I'm on my way somewhere, that I will go and pick up something really quickly. So I don't have time to plan.
It's very transactional.
It's very transactional, very transactional. So yeah, it's whatever's available, and I'll default to what I know, or if I'm just completely lost, which typically I'll recognize a few labels if I go to the California section.
Right.
Then I'll pick up the ones that I'm comfortable with.
Okay. So if you walked into the wine store and there was, they have those little like shelf talkers, those little, every now and again you'll see like a little description of what that particular wine is. So if you walked in and you saw one of those next door wine and it said buttery Napa style, would you be like, oh, maybe I should?
Actually, I am the type to test it, so I probably on top of what I was buying would buy that as well. So one of my, I guess, behaviors is if I'm hosting from going to someone's place, I will always have like nice bottles, at least decent bottles.
Yeah.
But I know over the course of the night, like people start getting liquored up, so I'll start serving less
cheaper stuff
later on. So I may even, in that respect, if I'm going to a party, I'll definitely bring what I intended to bring, and then bring something I wanted to try. So in that instance, I'm like, at least I'm not showing up with something embarrassing. I can say, hey, I just happened to walk by, and it said it was, along the lines of what I thought we would all enjoy. We can try it later on. Let's open these two first.
Yeah.
Let's try the third later on.
Yeah.
And then if I were to host, then it would probably be the fourth or fifth bottle that I would bring out.
Okay. So when you're trying something different, it's in a very risk-averse kind of way.
Kind of, yeah.
Very protected. It's not.
And it depends on the price point, because if it was, say, a $60 bottle, then I would probably be more risk averse. But if it was maybe $20, I actually don't mind just going
taking a chance.
Taking a chance.
Okay. And going back to my question earlier was that if you saw that description, then would that sway your decision? Your thought about maybe trying that wine?
Possibly. I think it's also product placement. So if it was next to what I intended to buy and it was within my view, that I would probably put something else. If I saw something in the sales section for $13.99 and it's like Napa equivalent buttery, whatever round,
whatever the words are,
I would probably, kind of like a pack of gum, it's probably just something I would just pick up. So yeah, I guess I am impulsive in that way. If I did see in the right time.
At the right time, right. Okay, if everything lined up.
Everything lined up.
Right. Okay, gosh. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, because I think how you described it was very accurate. It's very transactional. I'll go in there and I'll look for the label of the region, I'll go straight for that shelf, go back out. Like I don't go into a wine store just shopping, like as if I were to shop at a retail store. I don't browse. I'm in there, I'm out in 5 minutes. So it's not a browse. I don't enjoy browsing different liquors. I just go in and buy.
So you go in, you probably go to the US section, you have a certain level of price stages, so you'll pick from the different price stages, and if there's something nearby that's kind of looks interesting and it's on the cheaper end maybe, then that might be the one out of the three that you pick as a kind of let's give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah. And it would be probably supplementary.
Right. Okay.
Or like, incremental purchase.
Right. Okay. Have you ever bought wine online? There are like apps and things.
Yes. I think for personal consumption, probably not. It's usually gifting. So if I were to give a thank you gift or a birthday gift, not so much wine, because I feel like I could always find an equivalent in store. If I were to go for, say, I was looking for the Taiwanese whiskey that won the award 2 years ago, and I was trying to find it at stores in New York, even the US, could not find it. So I had to go online. I bought it from London to get it shipped here, but it was a very particular bottle, but not wine. I don't think I've done it for wine.
Because you think, well, I can go and do a better job myself.
Or it's accessible for me.
Right.
And it's not like I need to find that particular one. There isn't one that I'm so tied to, or at least it hasn't been an instance where I just had to find that particular one.
Interesting. Okay. So is like the whole process of like going and buying wine. Is it